Cabinets are incredibly expensive, and as you know, what we try to do is figure out how to create structures that are very affordable. And so I've been working on this idea for a long time of how can I make a cabinet face that looks decent at a very low price. And I think I've come up with something that works. And here's an example. We're working on this one right now. You start with a piece of plywood, or in this case I'm just using the OSB, which we've used all throughout the structure because OSB is very affordable and very strong. And so we took one piece and then we made the cuts here. These will be the doors, and the whole thing with the doors attached will make the face of our cabinet. I'll ask you to use your imagination a little bit on this one. Here's the frame, and it'll sit right there. And you can imagine the doors will have hinges here and open up this way, and that way you have a nice custom door. I'd like to take you through how we build these cabinet fronts. We start out with one piece of plywood, or in this case OSB, that's large enough to cover the entire face of the cabinet. In this particular one, we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 doors on this cabinet. Once you establish the size of the face that you need, and I always make them just a little bit larger than the opening so that they'll actually overlap just a little bit. And that ends up at the end of the project, it looks a little sharper if you do that. Once you establish that, then you simply mark where you want to have your doors, and you're going to create a frame. And so I have taken the liberty of going ahead and cutting out part of this frame, and I'm going to show you how I do that. We set the saw just so the blade will just go through the material. You don't want a whole lot of extra blade here. And then what I do is I set right on the line. I start up my saw, and very carefully I cut into the line. Now you'll notice that a little is left here, and this is holding everything together. On the corners, I can't get right up to the corner, and because of the kerf is actually got a little roundness in it because of the round blade, so I'm going to have to cut right on the corners using a saber saw, which I will do next. And I've cut out just the door. I'm going to end up with a frame all the way around that's not cut all the way through. I actually made a mistake. That's why these little metal brads are here. I cut it all the way through. I didn't intend to. But this will work. It'll be hidden when we get finished. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting this last part. Now I'm going to get my saber saw. Now I'm going to cut out these little corner pieces here, and then the door will just come right out. Again, being very careful. I wanted to show you something here. I didn't have to do this, but I'm going to. These were supposed to be exactly the same size. Somehow I mismeasured, and as you can see, one door is much smaller. It's not going to ruin the way this thing works, and so I'm just going to relax and use the thing. So I just wanted you to know that when you're doing projects, don't be so hard on yourself. Now I could have done it all over again if it was really necessary, but it's not really necessary in this particular case. So it'll be just another reminder of my imperfections. Thanks for joining us. We hope that you'll apply some of the ideas that we show you here. Until then, keep your eyes on the sky and the powder dry.